This is crazy times we live in. So these units that we might not have ever even thought about putting any effort into, it's time we fix them. Hey y'all, thanks for tuning back into Chickanic. I hope everybody's having a great week. It is a scorcher here in Arkansas. It is 94 degrees Fahrenheit and it is super duper hot. Hope everybody's staying cool. The shop is not much better than it is out here right now. But I had a customer drop off a couple of Murray mowers, both of them with the 450 Briggs and Stratton series engines on them. These mowers are rough, but times are a-changing. There's things that we might fix today that we used to not fix, but now mowers are getting scarce. They've, gone up at least 30% in price, which is insane, and they're not going to stop going up. I've already had notifications from all of my distributors that all of the products that we sell is going to go up. All of the Echo units, they're going up. This is crazy times we live in. So these units that we might not have ever even thought about putting any effort into, it's time we fix them. So I got them loaded up. We're gonna take them home and I'm gonna get at least one of these bad boys going, sell to somebody used, and maybe make a little money. All right, so I've got the mowers home now and I've been looking over them a little bit more, and I think that I'm going to be able to make at least one mower out of these two mowers. Now, when the customer gave them to me, he brought in a third mower, so I think he just wears them out until they're dead and then is done with them and goes and buys another one. But these days, these mowers are $250. These are the same mowers that you could buy for $149 just 2 years ago. So it is completely worth fixing and trying. I could sell them for probably 100 to 120 bucks easily once I get done with one of these. So let's go over them and see if I got anything good to work with. All right, so although this one looks prettier than this one, a lot of times I can sell a mower for more money just because it's pretty than a mower of better quality just because it's ugly. So don't let this fool you. Just because it's, cookie but shinier, this mower is in much worse shape than this one. Eventually I'm going to clean this up and it's going to look great. But going from just the frame itself, the wheels are all jacked out. You can tell this back one, it's totally cockeyed. The other back one's totally cockeyed. This one though, the wheels are pretty straight. This one might be out just a little bit. That one's pretty straight. This back one's straight. So I like that. A lot of times when you have to do frame work, that's no fun. I mean, these frames, they'll just blow out and then there's not much you can do with it. When it comes to the mulch cover, this one, I don't even know. It looks like something chewed on that. I'm probably gonna go ahead and steal the mulch cover off of this one and put over here. Let's look underneath. This is the one that had the good blade adapter on it, and the crankshaft does look straight on it. So that's pretty cool. I did bring a new blade home. I do, whenever I'm working on this kind of stuff, you're gonna wanna see where the engine bolts to the frame. Make sure that none of these mounts are broken. Both of those look good on that side. I'm gonna go over here. There's one more. That one looks good too. So I'm pretty satisfied that the pan is still in good shape. What I did notice is the cables. One of them is almost broken. Is it this one? Let's see here. Both of them, I can't even pull this one back. So I know that it's stuck and I don't want to force it until I lube it up a little bit. This one, on the other hand, I think it was the one that was fixing to crack. And although it would actually pull back, it's not doing anything down at the other end. It's not moving it. So it's either broke internally or something. Oh, maybe it's right there. I can't really tell. Yeah, it's starting to break right there. So this is a bad cable. This one I still have hopes for because it still is intact, but it is stuck. So I'm going to try to lube that up, see if we can get it going. All right, so one thing I am gonna do first this time instead of last, everybody thinks I don't clean anything before I sell it, or when I work on things that I don't clean them. Everything gets cleaned when we give it back to a customer. Lawnmowers, riders, everything gets power washed. When it comes to the small 2-cycle stuff, we Windex it and wash it off. I mean, we blow everything out. Everything is clean, but a lot of times y'all don't see that, which I'm really not teaching y'all how to clean things. I'm teaching you how to fix them. So that's why I don't show you cleaning. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pressure wash this thing just because I know y'all like it. So I did bust out the Simpson pressure washer that y'all saw in my first making shop trash into treasure video. I got that bad boy right there. It's still running great. Let's see how she fires up today. Shut off on any of your machines, it's always best to turn the fuel off and let it run until it dies. Looks like she cleaned up pretty nicely. I think that's gonna be just fine. Now I'm gonna take her inside and start tearing her apart. Okay, so we got it inside, but where do we start? I do know that the cable is sticking. The kill cable, it does not have a self-propel cable on this. It is just a push mower. So the first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna throw some all-in-one oil down the cable, lube a little bit on the bottom end too, see if I can work it out and get it to loosen up a little bit. Now, I thought that it had a shared flywheel key, and it might still, but it might be catching because if the cable is not disengaging the brake off of the flywheel totally, it will give that little resistance, and that might be what I was feeling as the flywheel key shared. I don't know, time will tell. Next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna remove this air filter. I'm sure it's gonna be disgusting. I already looked it inside the tank, and it was clean as a whistle. That's pretty awesome. Check this oil. I bet that's gonna be funky. And then I'm probably going to go ahead and lock. I can actually take something like a clamp or a zip tie, and I can compress the little mechanism back here that the kill stop cable actually engages, so I can go and pull it and see if it pulls freely. That'll let me know a little bit more, but let's start tearing it apart. All right. Well, that is moldy. Gross. And a lot of mold up underneath there. I don't have good feelings about this carburetor. It takes like 5 minutes to totally disassemble the carburetor and put it back together, so we're gonna do that here in a minute. I am gonna go ahead and take this top cover off first, that way I can get a better look at the brake back here and see what it's doing. So even though our cable is not broke, when I completely compress it as far as it can go, it's barely moving at all. So it definitely needs to come back just a little more. All right, so I've removed the plug and I've been lubricating the cable and working it back and forth. So now it still is a little hesitant, but it is coming back a lot more than it was before. And I like the clearance that it's got. It's not putting any kind of tension on the flywheel. So that looks good there, spinning freely. Next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna check the oil. Let's see what's going on in here. Hopefully we don't find black tar. Oh, that's actually a good sign. It does need to be changed, but it was at the correct level and it's not gray, so a lot of times when you open it up and it's pure gray, you know the engine is wearing out on the inside and it's totally not worth fixing. I'm pretty actually satisfied with what it looks like. Yeah, it's a little dark, but let's smell test.
Does not have any oil or any gasoline in it, so that's a good thing. Huh, that's a good sign. So I'm tempted just to put it back together, throw some gas in it and see what it does. I have no idea why this guy dumped it at the shop, but who knows, it might just need some carburetor work. So I don't know, let's try it. I put some gas in it, put a good plug in it, and now that I got the kill cable cleared up and freed up, I'm just gonna go ahead and start it. Now it does not have a blade on it, so don't worry about that. I did open the garage door, so don't worry about that, and let's see what it does. First, we're going to prime it. Ew, gross. Give it a nice, good prime. There we go. And let's see. Oop, that just pulled back on me. Yeah, that flywheel key is definitely sheared. Let's go ahead and take it apart. Now when you hit something as you're mowing, your first line of defense is your blade bending. And that's okay. If your blade bent, that means that it didn't destroy something else further down the line. Now, once your blade bends and you still have more resistance, it can break your blade adapter that the blade is actually attached to, which I wasn't sure about the flywheel key on this one because the blade adapter was still intact, and that's sort of odd. Usually, if somebody hits something hard enough to destroy the flywheel key, the blade adapter goes along with it. So in the line of things, you've got your blade that'll bend, you've got your blade adapter that will break, either the nipples will break off or it'll just break in two pieces or shear the key out of it. The next one is your flywheel key. So there's all these steps before it actually destroys your crankshaft. Now sometimes it doesn't matter, you can hit something hard enough and destroy it all. So thankfully though, I think this is just going to be a flywheel key. To get to the flywheel key, we're going to have to remove the starter cup first. That's going to take a 15/16 socket. So I got to go find that first, and we'll remove that. Then we'll take the flywheel off. Now I do have a flywheel puller, which makes it much easier to get your flywheel off. If you are not careful, you can break these so easy. If you're getting some flatheads under there and trying to pry it up on each side while you're doing an impact or something like that, or a punch, impact, anything like that, you can break it in two pieces very easily, and unfortunately, these bad boys are like $80, so you don't want to do that. Get a flywheel puller. You can borrow them from O'Reilly's, AutoZone, something like that. It'll help out tremendously. All right, so we're gonna get this off. Comes off pretty easy. That's your starter cup. Everything's still a little wet from me washing it. Now we're gonna get the flywheel puller out and get this flywheel off. Now, if a flywheel has never came off before with a flywheel puller, it is not actually tapped. So the flywheel pullers actually have tapping screws that you will tap it as you're putting it in. I'll show you how to do that. So with this particular flywheel puller, you're gonna wanna have a 7/16 and a 3/8 because these are 3/8 here on the top, and these nuts that you're going to want to adjust are 7/16. So the first thing you're gonna do is line them up straight into the two holes on top of your flywheel, and you're gonna wanna thread them in because they are self-tapping. You'll bring your nuts all the way up to the top here, and you will use your 3/8 to go in until you're past the cutting part of the self-tapping screw. Probably, a good ½ inch or so, maybe a little more, 3/4 inch is probably pushing it. Once you're to that point, and I've already done that, you're going to bring your nuts all the way back down to the flywheel on both sides. Once your nuts are to the bottom of the flywheel, you're just going to set them, 7/16. Make sure, not hard, you're just going to want to tighten them up. Next, you can set this part down, and we're going to screw these nuts all the way down to the puller part. Then we're going to grab our 7/16 and we're going to evenly screw down our nuts. That way it's pulling the flywheel up off the engine. It is stuck on the crank in the center. Come on. Come up. There we go. There we go. It's off. Now, one thing I did notice as I was taking off the flywheel, there's scrapes going all the way around it, but also I could tell that the ignition module was really tight up against the flywheel. So I'm going to go ahead and take it off, or just loosen it up a little bit, get a business card, get my 10,000ths between it. That way I know it's set correctly. All right, now that I have the coil released and backed away, I went ahead and put the key inside the flywheel. I just find it's easier to do it this way instead of trying to put it into the shaft and go down on it. And it's sticking in there correctly. We're gonna come down and it seats just right. Now we can go ahead and put our starter cup back on and tighten it down. Next, we're going to get the clearance on our coil and make sure it's 10,000ths and tighten it back up. Well, now that that's done, let's go ahead and throw it back together and see if she pops off. Okay, so it is the next day, which it was like 9:45 last night when I got done with it, so I wanted to go to bed. So here we are. We're going to see if it'll start. Let's prime it up. Give it a few extra punches there. Let's see what it does. Oh, almost. No. Do my little trick where we throw some gas up in there, let the float come up a little bit. I gotta go into the carb. Now, one of the first videos I ever made was how to fix your lawnmower in 10 minutes with a $13 part, and this is the exact engine I did it on. So if you want a complete detailed description on how to clean this carburetor out and get it running, I will leave a link right above so you can check that out. But I'm just gonna blow through it real quick just so we can get it going. All right, wish me luck. I'm gonna throw some gas in her and let's see if she fires up. So I'm pretty excited because I probably only have my cost maybe $20 to $25 with an air filter, flywheel key, blade, oil, and a plug. And so I know I could probably make $100 selling this mower for maybe $125. So that's gonna be awesome. I can't wait to ship it out to the shop and see how much it goes for. But thanks again for tuning in to Chickanic. Hopefully this video saved you time, money, and frustration in the future. If you haven't found us on Facebook yet, find us at facebook.com/Chickanic. Find me on Instagram at @TheRealChickanic, or find me at Chickanic.com where you can get your own Chickanic t-shirts, hoodies, and long sleeve shirts. Thanks, and have a great day.